I guess maybe where I should start is like the company I work for
Mm-hmm.
is a fertility and family building benefits company.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like we sell benefits to employers, so their employees can do like IVF, adoption, surrogacy, egg, sperm, and embryo freezing,
Mm-hmm.
and um, yeah, basically like certain employers will offer a certain dollar amount, maybe like $20,000 or $30,000, so that they can do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And what drew me to it originally was I was going to go to medical school,
Okay.
and so I was like working on the care team, and
Mm-hmm.
I led the care team for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and then recently transitioned to the sales team,
Mm-hmm.
but was drawn to it because it's like a global benefit offering. So if employers have like employees in other countries, then the benefit could be offered to them too, and they could do, like egg freezing in their country or like adoption in their country too.
Wow.
And then the other reason that I was interested in it is because they were like, I've always been interested in the women's health space, but I've also noticed companies who are more inclusive of what, like, who are just more inclusive of what healthcare looks like for women and people of other genders, and also the LGBTQ
Mm.
community.
Mm.
Because yeah, so like adoption and surrogacy would fall into, LGBTQ family forming really often. And then also like, you just know that queer people have really just like more non-traditional ways of building a family, because they're not going to have like penetrative sex, basically,
Yes. Right.
So that could also include like using donor sperm and donor eggs, and like doing
Mm.
reciprocal IVF.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really meaningful to help other queer people uh, build their families and start
Oh
their families.
yeah.
Like
Wow.
finding like affirming LGBTQ affirming clinics, adoption agencies, because some adoption agencies are hella religious.
Mm.
Um, and what else? I
Wow,
was
very
like an
meaningful work.
LGBTQ like family forming expert at work, in a way where
Oh.
like we had these expert chats, so like members could talk to like fertility nurses on staff, adoption experts,
Mm-hmm.
surrogacy experts on staff,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like an LGBTQ family building expert because uh, you know the pathways don't look like the normal pathways that they
Right.
would for heterosexual couples. There's just kind of some like other hoops that they'll need to jump through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, two women who are married, like they need to do in some states like a second parent adoption, because like if one person isn't the biological parent, then they need to like officially adopt their own kid that they had with their partner sometimes.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, wow,
Yeah, and then like combining queer family forming from like a global lens, there would sometimes be, same-sex couples in other countries that were trying to build their family, and um, if same-sex marriage wasn't recognized, or like same-sex couples weren't recognized, or like IVF wasn't available to them as a same-sex couple in their country, like in Asia, like Asia has there's a little more conservative takes on same-sex couples.
wow. Mm-hmm.
Then we would try to help people in those countries, those couples in those countries, go to another place where it is safer and more
Mm-hmm.
regulated for them to do family building, and they can establish parentage like uh, more easily than in their own home country. So
Wow.
that is I could talk about work for like a long time, but like that's the gist of it and why I'm in it.
Wait, sorry, you said you got into this or discovered it because you were gonna work in the medical field? Wait.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mm.
I was the I was a women and gender studies major at a
Mm-hmm.
historically women's college, which was
Hey. Okay, nice.
that was intense. Like being a widgist, that's the acronym we say for women and gender studies, a widgist major.
Okay.
And but like the entire time, I focused a lot of my studies on reproductive health and justice and women's health a little bit of public health.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I thought I was going to be an OBGYN.
Okay.
And like go into the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
But I um, just recognized that it wasn't my calling. I like applied to medical school after college, and I got in, and I deferred my acceptance for a year. That whole process was so traumatizing trying to apply. And then in the year that I deferred, that's when I moved to Los Angeles. And then towards the end of the lease, when I was trying to make a decision about whether or not to go to school, I was like, no, like I don't think that's the life for me anymore. I didn't want to commit to school and residency and like the kind of lifestyle, and I just loved my life in LA, and I think I saw a different future for me.
I was gonna say, I'm so like happy for you that you like not only recognize that for yourself, but like follow through with not like following a path that you think like, I don't know if should is the right word, but just that like, people do it and then you just feel stuck or regret, I guess.
I know, because I did so much work to get in.
I was like thinking that a little bit of like how easy, I guess, if that's the word, like it was for you to be like no, or was that something like battled?
It was really hard for me to say no, I don't think I should do this anymore.
Okay, because you make it sound like it was like something that you just like felt new and was like, I'm gonna do it. So that's why I'm asking for elaboration.
It was a very challenging decision to not go.
Right.
Like there were a lot of expectations, like family expectations for sure, expectations that I put on myself. I also knew that it was going to be like I think I would actually find it really rewarding in a lot of ways. And there's still like sometimes I think about it, like what would have it been like had I been an OBGYN or an emergency medicine doctor. But what draws me to it is the one-on-one interactions that I have with people. And I wanted to be an OBGYN because it meant like I would have a long-term relationship with people.
Wow.
And like create safety in that way. And like a lot of women's health topics are generally challenging to talk about or heavily stigmatized. It's really sensitive in nature. And so I loved talking about it. Like I was a sexual health educator in college. I loved talking about it. You were? No way.
Yeah. I was. I worked in like the Department of Health and Wellness. This actually ties into what I was going to ask you next, where so I am really fascinated by like mind-body connection, seeing like just advertisement around college, and it intrigued me, like just wellness in general and like community building. And it had like we had like a wheel of like topics that we wanted to provide information, knowledge, and like resources to the student population. And it was like broken down with like sleep, sexual health, nutrition, communication, like interpersonal relationships, and like I can't remember right now, but like this whole wheel of really cool topics that I'm like, oh my god, everybody should be learning this stuff. I'm like, it's really hilly here. I'm trying to like avoid the hills, but it's like really hilly. I felt immense gratitude in that moment, like when I came across having this accessibility and the resources to learn this for myself, and then in turn wanting to be really passionate about sharing it. But honestly, after my first year, I let it get the better of me, that it was hard on maybe my personality, but like emotionally feeling like, people would want like support or help with something, and I'd be like, okay, like giving the resources, like this is what you have to do, and they'd be like, I don't want to do that. And it felt constantly defeating, like
that's hard,
that like this is like a clear way that you can, and that's like tangible, and like of course you have to put in like the effort and everything for yourself, but like many times I would get like, is there like something else, or like there are different,
like, but you were met with resistance.
Yes, like met with a lot of resistance, where I let it bog me down, that like I felt like I wasn't reaching people, and so I was like, I felt defeated, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
That's hard.
I was gonna ask you, like, because you sound really like passionate about what you do and you're really happy to assist people. But I mean, I imagine there are instances that it doesn't work out. You do find them a solution regardless, or are there any times where like they don't have a solution?
What's really hard was talking to the people who had gone through multiple IVF cycles and still hadn't achieved a pregnancy yet.
That's what I mean.
That those were some of the most challenging because people came in to see work with us and they were just really defeated. Didn't feel like a lot of hope. They spent so much money on the process because it's so expensive. Like every cycle is $20,000 to $30,000, and they're like, I only have so much more money to pay for care, or like I only have so much more of my benefit funds from Carrot to pay for care, and like if this doesn't work, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then it would also be challenging sometimes to work with queer couples who, maybe just like didn't have the most positive experience going into the clinic for the first time, because of their identity. Like, them not being super well versed in maybe some of the like donor topics, like having a lot of people will have a known donor come in and like a friend, say for example, or like a sibling, and I don't know if a lot of physicians always knew how to have conversations around donor topics. Sometimes they're like, that's what they would express occasionally. Yeah, like
That's
some
not
of them
traditional,
did.
right?
Yeah, like some of them did because, a lot of maybe single intending women or single intending parents come in to use like donor sperm, but like maybe it's like more of an anonymous donor situation. Like they went to a sperm bank, they purchased donor sperm. Like I think that feels a lot more familiar than like maybe doing a known donor, which is pretty common in queer family forming. Like having someone that you know. Yeah, I think like there's a lot of times where like people will be like, yeah, like ask a family member to be a donor, or like contribute gametes to their family building journey.
Yeah. So in those like, are those like challenging experiences or conversations less common for you than maybe like the ones that they're kind of coming in doing the process and they're not as like jaded? Or I don't know if my question is too like broad, but I guess because I'm trying to tie it into like how you navigate that or balance, like it feels like, because you talk about it with such like, again, joy, and like you're passionate about it, but when I hear you talk about it, I'm like, oh, that sounds like really tough. Like that sounds like an environment where it's like, it can be so emotionally like taxing, where it's like,
right,
how do you like navigate that? Or again, I guess like even personality wise, maybe if that's just something you're better able to like manage, or if that is what school taught you.
I think that like, there were a lot of times where people would come into these situations and then I would be able to offer that, like so much of what's important to them is having a provider that's affirming and like working with providers that make you feel seen and like have worked with people that look like you or have families like you, like queer people. And I do a lot of work to like match them with providers that were also LGBTQ friendly or affirming, and like specifically said, or like in their marketing materials or on their websites, that they work with queer people, because it has, I don't know, just like visibility in that way is important, to acknowledge that the way that they're going to build their family is going to look a little different. At Wellesley, like I think it's like 40 or 50% of the people are queer. So like we knew that queer sex was happening on campus. We had to do other like sexual health events that focused on queer sex and like queer safe sex, consent,
Mm-hmm.
like the dynamics in queer relationships,
Mm.
and that was really fun. It was also really challenging in some ways because I think I don't know. We don't have to talk about how toxic like queer relationships can be on campus and like how crazy it can be in college, but
people would eat that up. No, but yeah, I get it. But,
yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm just registering that your organization, you pair the people. You're not like the one consulting necessarily, right? Like you're not.
No, we're not like the provider.
That's what I'm saying. You're like the third party.
We're the third party.
Okay.
Yes. Like we're matching them to providers.
That's why when I'm asking you, I'm not asking the right question because I'm thinking you're like the one sitting down. You literally just said you're not a doctor, but or like sorry again. No. But okay, now I understand. Okay.
Right. It's like kind of like the navigation.
The navigation part. Yeah. So then, like you said, you find the like
affirming providers.
Yeah, affirming providers.
Resources. Like there's all these kinds of mental health resources for queer people. Specific like grants and loans built for queer family building too, because we know it can be expensive.
Wow.
What else?
And did I already like how did you get this position? If you like, where did that happen? Where like you were applying to be in med school, but you got this instead, right? I assume, or is this like part of it?
Like I had this position while I was applying. Like I think while I was applying, I got a role as a care navigator.
How do you find? Is this their school or
like how did I find this company and this role?
Yeah, like it's such a.
It's unique.
Niche.
It's niche.
It's like niche.
It's niche. Since before I worked for Carrot, so obviously I was in the women and gender studies major, interested in women's health. So like after college, I was looking at all these women's health companies to potentially work at or that focused on reproductive health and justice.
Okay, that's why.
I worked for a nonprofit that connected in a way where we were trying to bridge the innovations of these health tech companies to Medicaid communities because they're often the last people and last communities to have access to the latest technology. And honestly, like, suffer a lot of healthcare disparities, you know. Part of that work, I researched a lot on women's health and maternal health. And so that's also how I found the companies, like the list of companies that I was going to apply to jobs for. Because I was like, I don't want to work in the nonprofit space. I want to work at one of these health tech companies that are doing really interesting work. So I applied to be a care navigator at Carrot because I saw that they had an opening. And I got the role. And then I was applying for medical school at that time.
I see. Okay, I see.
Because I was like, you know, care navigator role is going to look good for medical school. It works. And I was also passionate about like the mission and the company.
Yes.
And then in the year that I deferred, I was like the 5th care navigator. And the year that I deferred my medical school acceptance, they promoted me to a team lead position, which was leading, eventually like growing our team from like 5 to now it's like 50 people.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So you got in when it was kind of like
when it was like more like 150 employees, and now it's like 450 to 500 employees.
Wow!
And our team grew so much. And then, you know, in the team lead position, I was there for like 2.5 years, and that was basically helping run the care navigator, all the other care navigators, who were helping these employees of different companies like build their family. And it was basically like white glove customer support, you know. I mean, you kind of have an idea of like the kind of support we were providing. We're connecting people to clinics, we're helping them with reimbursement. But yeah, I was like running a service center for a couple of years.
So what do you do outside of work?
Okay, outside of work,
yes,
I spend a lot of time climbing. You know, I like climbing.
Okay, climber.
Have you had anyone else talk about climbing yet?
No.
Okay.
No, you're the first. So
okay,
climbing. What is the hype? Why do people gravitate to it? Do you think, is it, the culture? I'm not in the climbing world as much as I'd like to be. I've dipped my toes in it and it was fun. But anyways,
I got into climbing. So I played soccer in college.
okay.
That was really high impact on my body. I had like 4 knee surgeries. It was really intense, and I needed to find a sport that was a little bit more like low impact.
Climbing is low impact?
I think it's like low medium. Low medium. I had a friend who was like, "Oh, I'll take you climbing, Julia, if you take me ocean foraging." And so I was like, "Bitch, yes, like
ocean foraging."
Ocean foraging. Yeah, she's like, "I'll take you climbing if you take me ocean foraging," because she knew that I like. She knew that I would go out to Half Moon Bay, like Pillar Point. It's like these spots in the Bay Area where you can like pick up mussels and sea urchin and crab, and I would just bring it home and eat it.
How did you get into this?
I got into ocean foraging during the pandemic. I have this favorite YouTube creator named Outdoor Chef Life.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
His real name's Taku.
Okay.
But he was really familiar. He grew up in the Bay Area too, but he was really familiar with just like the spots in the Bay Area that aren't like marine protected land, and like how to go outside, be in this beautiful place, and then basically forage for your own food. He would cook right at the beach, or in these areas, or like at his campsite where he found his food and make these really delicious meals. And I was so inspired because I think it's really beautiful to just see how the earth provides in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love being outside.
Okay.
I love the ocean. I love food. I was
there you go.
I need to learn more about how I can do this on my own.
Okay.
And so during the pandemic, people are just like outside more, but like social distancing. So like this was an activity I did kind of socially distant. Yeah.
How did you know? So like, did you watch videos? Did you read on it? All of this?
Oh yeah. So I watched hella YouTube videos. Like I binge watched Outdoor Chef Life, and I learned all about how to time your kind of forage session with the tides. So like you want to go during low tide, and
amazing.
Sometimes that would be hella early in the morning. Like sometimes it would be like 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning. You're just trying to catch the low tide because there's certain levels or like feet, like depth. Yeah, there's just different tide lines where like the lower the tide, the more that can be exposed. So like mussels are in some places are like exposed at maybe like many different, I don't know how to explain this well, but like they can be exposed at a low tide, but like I know for sea urchin you need like a negative tide, which is basically like a very, very low tide to go get sea urchin. For crabs, like at the low tide, I know that I could find some if I just like swept the seaweed aside in some places and just like looked. Yeah. And
what's the like proudest or coolest thing you've caught? You're like, ooh, like
I've found some pretty big rock crabs in these tide pool areas and in the jetties.
And
oh my god! And then I could eat them. I bring it home and I eat it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I love like preparing crab. That's probably like my favorite food. Hello. Catch and cook. Yes.
I love crab. Give me some butter. Give me some lemon.
Yes. So like I also learned how to fish during this time because like he had hella videos on fishing.
Okay.
And then he also like taught us like how to do it safely. So like being able to call the toxin hotline so you're not just like picking up mussels that like during algae blooms that can make it toxic to eat mussels to consume. And what else? Like how to do it within the regulations that you're supposed to do it in.
Do you have to have like a license?
Like you have to have a fishing license. You have a daily limit. You can only like catch so many fish or like pick up so many sea urchin or have crabs that have shells a certain like they have to be a certain size for you to be able to take them home. So I learned all about that too.
And your climbing friend just wanted like new?
She was like, "Can you just like take me outside? Like we can just go get some food outside, basically, so
Oh.
that we can take it home and eat it."
Got it.
So the day that I took her out foraging, it was I think it was like Half Moon Bay area, and we got mussels and sea urchin, and I'm pretty sure we did like a green curry mussel dish that was really good.
That's cool.
Like sometimes I would do like a cioppino, like a pasta with mussels and tomato sauce.
Oh my gosh! So big seafood person.
Yes, I'm a major seafood person. Sea urchin, like the sea urchin is just great over rice and seaweed, and but like sometimes we made like sea urchin pasta, or like we would put it on top of ramen. What else do we do with it? Sometimes we smoked the mussels or smoked the sea urchin. With the crab, I made like crab ramen.
Bruh.
I know. So like the first year in LA, I struggled to make community and to make friends because I was living in Santa Monica, which I felt I loved as a space and like as a city because of how close I was to the beach and like I don't know, Venice and walkable areas. So that was great, but I just like didn't make any friends because I there's not like I didn't feel like there was a lot of people of color or queer people that I saw just like around or community building events in the west side of LA. And so the climbing gym was like the only place where I felt like I could do that, maybe. And so it was maybe a little like towards the end of my first year and living in LA, I went to the gym and I had one person who approached me who basically introduced me to my entire world of people in Los Angeles because they were like, she was a Filipino girly and we just got along so well because we were climbing the same problem. Just really hit it off in our conversation and helping each other do this problem. It was so funny. She was like, "Okay, I'm going to introduce you to all my friends who are here at the gym right now." And so she grabbed me and she put her arm around me. And then she went up to some of her other friends who were in the gym and she's like, "Everyone, this is my best friend Julia. Like, you got to meet her." Even though that was like, I had only been speaking to her to maybe like 10 minutes. So.
Oh my God.
And then I think.
Like, I want to hear this. Mic on.
And so then I just kept showing up on my Mondays and Wednesdays as normal, and I'd see those people again that she introduced me to, and then they introduced me to a whole bunch of people, and then I just spent so much time with them in the climbing gym, of course, at first, but then it was like I started going camping with these people. Like I would do dinner with them, hot pot with them, like I don't know, go play Smash at their apartment. And it just felt like a multiplier effect, essentially.
That's so awesome.
And I get to see them, while doing something that I love, and then also just like, I don't know, a bunch of them live near me in West LA, which was great, and I think essential, honestly, for me to maintain that friendship. If they were close by, that kind of really mattered in LA to me. Yeah.
All right,
and then
okay, go. No.
You're like, shit, I gotta go.
No, go. Tell me.
Well, I met sass people at a Queer Crush event. I saw a group of queer girlies all trying these problems, and I was like,
okay, sass.
I was like, I feel like they all know each other or something. Because
they did, right?
Because the way that they're interacting. I didn't know they were. Well, oh yes, I knew they were queer because it was a Queer Crush event. But
got it. Okay.
I was like, I feel like these girls all hang out outside of Queer Crush or like outside of climbing. It just feels like they do. I'm gonna add you to like all of the climbing group chats, all of the sass group chats.
I was like,
in Cliffs of Id. Yeah.
Cliffs of Id.
Wow. I was like, oh my God, queer Asian girlies that climb. I'm going to introduce myself and like, let me just like, I get it. Yes.
As you should.
It took me a little bit of time to get into the sass. Like, it's kind of overwhelming when you first join, like seeing all of the messages in the group chats and just like coordinating time.
It sounds like we joined around the same time.
there's something so sacred about queer, Asian, women in non-binary spaces that just make me feel so safe and so seen. And I don't even know how to describe the feeling, but I just feel very understood by the community. Now that I like have people that I know in the community, in the SAS community, I'm like, I feel and just really be myself. Like when we went out that other time and singing, like that was so wholesome and cute, and I just want that feeling for like the rest of my life, you know?
Yes.